Staying on Apple just for one more second here. They're trolling Google actually here in Toronto. I don't know if you knew this, Will, but Google is doing this futuristic city thing down on the waterfront here in the city of the fine city of Toronto. This would be the type of city I would like to live in and sign a long-term contract to stay in if I was a professional athlete. See what I did there? Well, I'm not referencing any particular athlete because I'm, very low key. I don't like to apply pressure to people, trying to make very hard decisions. But I'm just saying, it's a very nice city. It's a safe city, Jack. A lot of nice restaurants to eat at. Very diverse city. Something for everyone in this city. So anyway, Google, they got the green light to do this futuristic civilization setup here. Sidewalk. What do they call it? What's the name of the company? It's Sidewalk Labs. And in conjunction with Google, they've taken over the waterfront, try to reimagine the waterfront, which, by the way, as much criticism as they've taken to this point, the waterfront in the city here definitely needs work. Like, it's kind of a wasteland in certain parts. And what people might not understand is the area in which they've gone in and attempted to modify it really wasn't doing much up until this point. So I'm a technology enthusiast. I'm typically optimistic. I understand some of the criticism that they're getting. Any change in general is going to elicit some degree of criticism, and rightfully so. But I'm still in the camp where I'm like, it's kind of cool that they're doing that here. I have to wait and see what the implications are. But here's the thing. Apple, they've had their privacy conversation going on since right around CES 2019 when they put up that billboard across from the convention center. Well, the original one was what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. It was making waves. They didn't do anything or say anything at CES, but they had the billboard, and that was enough to get them some articles. They've been on this security trip for a while now saying, hey, we're different than Google. We don't care about your data. We don't sell your data. We're not trying to show you ads. We're a different type of company and so forth, which is probably true to a certain degree. Of course, them getting into the services businesses, like with the card and stuff, you kind of wonder for how long this is going to be the case, that they don't care about you personally. They're getting into your finances. Again, they claim it happens on your phone, it stays on your phone. Now, Sidewalk Labs, the criticism for Sidewalk Labs and what they're doing in Toronto is that they're really just building a futuristic surveillance state. Cameras everywhere. They're going to know where you go, what you do, and what you buy in stores. And that's the fear, is it's some 1984 type of scenario. So Apple picking up on that, they placed this billboard right beside the Sidewalk Labs project offices. And they say, we're in the business of staying out of yours. Privacy, period. That's iPhone. And if you're standing looking at the Sidewalk Labs headquarters there, or offices, whatever it is, you can't help but see this billboard as well. Now, you could say this is just by chance, Will. You could say they do these types of campaigns and it just so happened to land in front of these offices. You could say that, couldn't you?
You could.
What else could you say, though? You could say something else as well. What could you say?
They're in the business of staying out of yours, pretty much.
So you could say, but could you say that this is a targeted thing? That do you think?
Yes,
okay, so this is a targeted thing. They're going head to head, mano a mano. Is that how you say that? They're going toe to toe.
Yeah, it's a light little jab.
They're having a little face off here, and a little bit of fun. And so what? Fine, go for it. I don't know. There's going to be this kind of jostling from here on out. This is going to be the way that it goes as tech progresses. We'll see which model wins out. Obviously, from an adoption perspective, a market share perspective, Android's been very successful. So has Google. And so have platforms like this, YouTube, which you don't pay for. You just, you share your data in a way. You sacrifice your attention to watch ads, and these are two different models, two different approaches to the web. I can speak from personal experience. If this platform didn't exist in a format that it does, in which I could earn revenue from showing you ads, Like through through that mechanism, this never would have happened. If I had to rely on Apple to build this video platform where they didn't care about user data or ads, how could this have ever happened? I would have look at podcasts, for example, since this show is also available as a podcast for free, essentially, I would then have to have built out my own personal ads to go with it, which is fine. Many have done it successfully, but nowhere near the number that did it successfully on YouTube, because YouTube didn't require the initial investment to be able to do it. You could start generating revenue almost immediately on that model. So anyway, there's an argument in both places, but Apple, they're entrenched in their position. Google, obviously entrenched in theirs. And now Apple is continuing to troll. They're keeping the troll going a little bit longer. I'll give you some quick data here on Sidewalk Labs and what they're working on. They are going to install sensors in a 12-acre waterfront neighborhood space. And the sensors are going to monitor the movements and behaviors of people walking through the area. Now, that's the official statement. That's one way of putting it. The truth is, you're going to be watched if you're in this area. The argument's going to be that it's going to improve the services, improve the experiences that you have within this region. They're going to have like fiber connections. It's like some sort of tech utopia situation going on. Obviously, I got to get down there and check it out once it's in play. But for the time being, people are going to have to decide if the relationship between their privacy, right, security, and convenience. Because you're always, you know what I'm saying, Will? This is like you've got you know, on your apartment, let's say, or your house, you have a lock at the front. You have one lock, let's say. So now that trade-off, you've got some security, and you've given up a little bit of convenience in the fact that you need to pull your key out every time you get home, right? As opposed to never locking it. Well, you could add another lock. You could add 5. But what just happened to your convenience? Getting in and out of the house is a nightmare. Now, you might not even leave the house.
Yeah.
You see how that goes? It's always that trade, one for the other. And you got to make a decision what that's worth to you. Like I've heard people, okay, let's put an electronic lock on the house. But wait, they could hack it. But it's super convenient. You see where I'm going here?
Yeah. I mean, what if like you get a penthouse suite in this Sidewalk Toronto condo? But,
Are you suggesting I do that? Is that what you're doing?
I mean, there's a trade-off here. Like, what if you're completely monitored all the time? You know?
Right. They subsidize the cost of living there so they can learn more about human behavior in a way they never have before.
Yeah.
Is that a relevant exchange? How is
that different than like what YouTube does right now?
Should a person be able to do that if they want? Full out surveillance in exchange. I mean, it's a creepy concept. The future is happening. Who knows what it's going to look like? Google and Sidewalk Labs, they think it's going to look like this. I don't know what Apple thinks it's going to look like. Does Apple just think it's going to look kind of how it does right now, just with except you'll have a bunch of Apple devices?
Maybe.
See, that's the problem, is that like, what is an iPhone without Google or YouTube? Like, or for many people, Facebook or whatever. It's a portal. Without Google, the web would be such a different place.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's important to consider the future is happening on the waterfront of Toronto. Could be good, could be bad, like everything in life. Double-edged sword.
Yep.
Will.